Let's roll. Co-pilot on the passenger side, be so fly. Yeah. She so lit, we so high. Just me and my chick, yeah. Just me and my chick, yeah. Co-pilot on the passenger side, be so fly. Yeah. She so lit, we so high. Just me and my chick, yeah. Just me and my chick, yeah. She give me a bit of her love. Yo, welcome, y'all, to another one. It's your boy Rob One, and this is Sparking Conversation. And y'all know what I do each and every week. I get up here and I talk to some of the world's most interesting people. And tonight, I'm going to do the same thing. But no, I got special guests on tonight. You know what I'm saying? Because this is Women's History Month. So we're going to talk to some women in the building, and I feel like they just been doing some remarkable things. They have their own podcast, and Oyendia, as far as Oyendia is concerned, it's been through a couple of transitions, right? So we're going to talk about that. We're going to get into some things with the ladies of Oyendia. We got two of them on tonight, so we're going to chop it up with them and a few. But right now, y'all know what I got to do. Like I do each and every week, I have to thank the people that download the audio version of this platform. Thank y'all so much, man. I'm trying to tell y'all, like, this is one of the things when it comes down to this platform game that I think a lot of people miss. They think that this part right here, the visual part, is the most important part, and that's what they focus on. But they don't understand how these brands locate you, how you get these deals, how you do these bigger things and move this over to where this can be a way where your life can be changed. Is the audio version. So you have to pay attention to that part too as well. So for all of y'all, I want y'all to know, if y'all doing this platform game and y'all need that Bob, click the link in the description, RSS feed. I want y'all to click the link and y'all get started. Get the information if you already have a platform out there. Like I said, we don't gatekeep on this platform, right? We want to make sure that everybody understand that this is a way you could change your life. Don't look at the way that things are set up to look like, because right now, it's a bunch of fear going on, right? So I don't want y'all to live in the state of fear. We got to understand that there's a way for us to always stay in control. If we pay attention to the people who make the decisions, then we can understand how to move. That's just all I'm going to say on that, right? All right, bet. So today, man, thank y'all, man. We had new content drop today. Like, we dropping new content every week. So we got the new content today. Therapy Gone Wrong, part 13. Yo, I want y'all to make sure, if y'all following me on Facebook, y'all know what to do. Just click the link. It's pinned to the top of my profile, so you can just go there and check it out. If you're on YouTube, Team Collective TV on YouTube, go check it out. And y'all know we got the Collective Visions page on Facebook, so you could go there and you could check out all the content that we have so far and the ones that we getting ready to release. So that way you guys will always know, all right, what we got going on. So thank y'all. All right, bet. So what else we got? Y'all know we got We Don't Wait, We Create coming up Saturday. Oh, that's the wrong. Why is it saying Charlotte? I don't know what's going on with that. But I guess it's speaking into existence that we're going to be able to move this thing around from city to city. But right now, y'all know, North Carolina, Raleigh, North Carolina, Saturday, April 18th. We Don't Wait, We Create. It's going down. I want to see all y'all in the building. Make sure y'all RSVP. All y'all got to do is click the link. Y'all can follow this directions right here, or you can click the link, thecollectiveevents.net. Yo, RSVP and be in the building. Y'all know what we want in the building. Models, actors, actresses, clothing designers, script and concept writers, brand ambassadors, directors, videographers, booking agents, casting agents. And we also want podcasters in the building, because listen, it's a way that we can help each other move around out here, y'all. You know what I mean? Because they give you the blueprint. I want y'all to know these platforms want you to be successful. There's no reason for us to be on social media and not monetize. What's the sense of being on there? I guess people just want people to know their business or something, because other than that, I don't understand it. If you're not trying to monetize, it makes no sense to me, y'all. Word up. But that's for you, and that's for us. We Don't Wait, We Create. Be in a building, all right? Because it's going down. And like I said, when you leave that room, you should be able to leave that room, right? Or leave that area, leave that event with a connection, and you're going to do something, because I'm not playing. If you come to meet me, we getting to work. The clothing line, the filming, the whole we're not playing. So I'm saying to all of y'all that are already RSVP, thank you. To everybody else that's thinking about it on the fence or don't know, be in the building. I'm telling y'all, we're going to get to work. If you serious, because you can check my timeline and see I ain't playing out here. So That's another thing. Y'all got to stop falling for people who claim to be experts and stuff. It's a lot of people right now going to school trying to get a degree from a person in business that ain't never owned a business. So I don't understand it. So right now, it's just that if a person say they do something, you should see they do something. It shouldn't be the opposite way around. You shouldn't have to go search for something that somebody say they do. That's crazy. Either way it go, we don't wait, we create. It's going down. I need y'all in the building. Okay, another thing, another shout out before I get into switching over real quick, because I see I got comments already. But to those of y'all that we've been talking, some people been hitting me up personally saying, Rob, I seen the thing that you was talking about with the parasite cleansing. What's that about? What's in it? And I want all the people out there to know. That's why I said click the link in the description, because all of the details of what's in there is in there. And that way you don't have to get it secondhand. You don't have to worry about somebody just saying something and not saying something. And you would know, because listen, most people will say to you that, you know, it's okay that you feel the way you feel, and it's okay that you're going through these things, because it always happens and it's for everybody. But no, it's not. Everything ain't for everybody. And the one thing that we got to remember is health is wealth. And if you guys are not willing to take control or take control of your own health, then that's your own wealth. That's on you. It ain't on nobody else. That's why I said click the link in the descriptions, get the information, and pay attention, y'all. And all you got to do is correlate parasites to how you feeling in your body. All you got to do is look it up. What type of, what we want to call, like, how do you feel based in your body, right? And then you can go up, look up parasites and see how that correlates to different things. If you have certain parasites, it says these are the symptoms. So all you got to do is put it together. And if you feel like that, then boom, you know what to do. You got to get it out. This is something that was interesting to me too. This ain't part of what my did you know, but this is something that was interesting. Whenever a person, they was talking about honey baked ham, or something like that. So what I didn't know is how that came about. Like, I was wondering what made them want to put honey on ham. Like, that's that, I don't get that. You know what I'm saying? I grew up not eating pork. I don't eat pork. So it's not a thing that I was concerned about based on the taste. It was just the way that it comes across. And then I did some research and found out the reason that they even developed or discovered honey baked ham, or ham with honey and the whole nine, is because what they used to do in order to be able to eat the meat, right? What they would do is they would put honey on the ham. The parasites would come out of it, and then they will put cloves on top of the meat. So as the parasites came out of the honey, came out of the pork to eat the honey, the cloves was right there to kill the parasites. So that's how that came about. I didn't know that. So then, and it come down to a lot of things, because we talk about the delicacies in our diets as a community, because of how people were raised off of different things based off of slavery, whether it was chitlins, pork, any of the worst parts of the pig they were giving to people. And because of that, you know what I'm saying, people have been dealing with different things throughout the course of their life or through years, and they keep blaming it on their heritage or their lineage, when it ain't that. It's really their diet. So all you got to do is check the information, click the link, y'all, and y'all got that. All right, so saddens me, right? Because I have to say a couple of things here that don't make me feel good, right? So first of all, I want to give a special, this is Women's History Month, so I want to give a RIP to the great Kiki Shepard, right? For those of you guys that know who she is, if you watch Showtime at the Apollo and y'all understand how important she was to our culture during that time, because of the representation of, just Black faces in media in general. And then to be, on the longest running, almost the biggest, I don't know if it's the biggest artist breaking platform, but some of the biggest artists have broke on this platform, and that she has been a part of. So it's a lot of people who everybody loves and they adore that had to go through that Apollo stage. And she's the person that they had to, that they went through and they met, not necessarily went through, but they met, but she's really important. So rest in peace to Kiki Shepard. I just wanted to make sure we gave her a special shout out based on Women's History Month. Now, for me and my history, I have to do another RIP to my boy, Ciroc Pop. For those of you guys out there that may know who he is, this is a guy who, for a long time, man, I did a lot of things in music. So for the most part, most people that know me, they know me from music, right? I've done a whole bunch of things with music, all kind of stuff, tours, whatever, right? That comes down to music, right? And this guy right here, the reason how I met him was when I first came to Raleigh, it was a group that was out here called Rap Lord. And what they did was they would throw shows, but they would videotape the performances. And at that time, getting your performance videotape was really important. And that was their niche. Their niche was to you come here, you perform, we're gonna videotape your performance. And as an up and coming artist, that's what you need because you know it's how you study yourself. It's how you learn how to perform. It's how you learn what made the crowd react. What did you do? What didn't you do? How you could perform or how you could be better. So having a performance and it also helped with social media presence, right? But during that time when I was rocking with Rap Lord, because it ain't really been but about a good 13 or 14 years since camera phones have been really prevalent. So before that, people either had to have a video camera of some sort, you know what I mean, or something like that. So that was the thing. You go perform. It's like if you go by yourself, ain't nobody gonna film you. But this guy, Ciroc Pop, is who I met during that time, and it was through those Chitlin Circuit tours and all these other things that we did that we helped build our artistry up in the stages and all the performances that we did. And he was an original member of Team Collective. Team Collective started off as 14 members, y'all, 14 people, 15 people. It wasn't meant to be a group. It kind of broke down to being a group because of so many different people picking, living their life and doing different things and different things happening. But he was one of the original members. So it saddens me to say RIP to this guy because he was such a great talent. He was such a great person. You know what I mean? Like, he had such respect for me, man, for what I was doing trying to do a Team Collective and the whole thing, man. And just as an artist in general, man, and we had so many different conversations and so many different shows, just so much stuff, man. So, I just want all the people out there to know, man, that, man, just hug on your people. Stop finding more wrong with people than right. You know what I mean? That's what I think. I think a lot of people take people for granted they're around all the time or they can see or whatever, because they always, with these people, is what you find something wrong. But it's not until these people are not here no more that you start to reminisce and feel and understand how much of a blessing they were to your life. And not between me and Ciroc Pop, I don't mean to correct, bring that all together because we never had any issues, never had a fallout no matter what. And I've never had a fallout with anybody from Team Collective, period. So that's just me putting it there. You know what I mean? But what I'm saying is that hug your loved ones, right? Or when there's people that's a part of your life that has really been a part of your life and really helped you, yeah, y'all gotta excuse my son. He in the background just telling y'all I'm on daddy duty right now and I'm doing the show. He don't care nothing about what I got going on right now. I promise y'all. He just gonna do his own thing. He's watching Sesame Street. He knows everything by heart. He's 3. And he know every show that they ever had by heart. So he gonna be back there repeating stuff. So y'all gonna have to, just never mind him. I ignore him because I hear it all the day. But just for y'all in the background, I'd be like, oh my God, he got somebody back there chained up. No, I don't. It's my son. He's back there free. He's good. He just doing him, and he cares about nobody else but what he feeling at the moment. So just gonna give y'all that. And he looking at me now because he see I'm talking about him. So. But what I want to say, make sure y'all hug y'all people, love y'all people, and stop taking people for granted. Don't really realize this. I'm telling y'all, there's certain people that be a part of your life that you don't understand. Me personally, I know memories pop up on Facebook every day, and I've seen so many people that I really don't talk to every day, don't have no issues with, but I'm such a part of their life. And I'm not bragging. I'm just saying, like, whenever you're a giver, it shows. You don't have to talk. You don't have to you don't have to always let people know. It's going to let them know. So many people, so many artists, so much that I've done in this area or in just the nation, period. So it's so many people that's connected. So for me, it hits different. It's not just a regular RIP. You know what I mean? I really be a part of people's lives, and it's crazy because it's all opportunity that I come with. I never come without value. There's nobody that's never been in my life that hasn't got nothing out of it. And it's not that I look to do that to bring people. It's like, why have people in your life if you can't add value? Anyway, let me get to these comments because I'm not going to get too much on my rant because, I got a few people waiting on me. So we're going to get that going. Let's see. I got who is this? Natalie Grenade. Okay, can you give me a shout out? All right, shout out to you. What's good? I'm glad you checking the program out. I appreciate you and keep holding it down. Word. Y'all on YouTube out there. All right. Hi to you too. Appreciate you checking in. All right. Just the one back. Yo, you got that guy. Really? Like that's weird right there, yo. You the police or something, yo? What are you talking about? Yo, you island, B. Anyway, that's what I get for not screening my comments before I just threw them up there, right? But it is what it is. They know the vibe. So look, I got the ladies of Oy and D in the building. Like I told y'all, this is Women's History Month. So it's I have to. And not only that, they as far as platforms concerned, I'm telling y'all, when it comes to this platform game, y'all guys are gonna have to start finding ways that y'all can help each other out. You know, this platform game is really different, right? Because at the end of the day, a lot of people are losing their jobs. A lot of people are going through all these things towards tech. But the one thing that everything else needs going forward is a place to advertise. So whenever we as content creators create content and we build it and we put our minds and our heart and souls into it, all that does is help us to build for a place for those places or those people. So it could be somebody who laid you off who are going to be paying your whole bills and everything else toward the future just because you're a content creator. It's just the way that you got to change your mindset. So having these ladies on the program is going to be really dope because they are content creators. Not only that, they're actors, they're professional. They're out here making it shake and do all these other things, hold all other businesses and all other titles. So it just serves me well to be able to talk to them. So let me bring them up real quick. Let's go. Yesy Rob, what up?
Hello, hello. Thank you for having me on. Me and my amazing co host who's coming on. I'm going to leave it a surprise so that you can introduce her. But we are super thrilled to be here. How are you, Ra?
All right, I'm good, yo. You know the vibes. We always in a space where we open, and I'm so glad that y'all made it on the platform. And then we got Nadine in the building. What's going on?
Hola, 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 hello. Every time I hear Ra's name, I just want to say ra, ra, ra.
Yeah, yeah. I like that, yo. Let's get it, yo. That's the
You
vibe.
know that
That's the energy.
Jamaican gotta come out of me. I be like ra, ra.
I love it. Hey, yo, listen. That's why when we created the design for you for the We Don't Way We Create, I had to do it the Jamaican flag fly. You know what I'm saying? Just to help you represent.
That's right. I appreciate that. Those shirts are banging. Listen, I wanted to represent with the We Don't Wait, We Create because thanks to Yesy, I received my shirts yesterday. But I have to come on and represent our team, the women of Hoyendia TV.
I like
But
that.
I did get my shirt and they look so good.
Ah,
Let me tell y'all, this material, it is so nice, so good. Listen, if y'all need t-shirts, this is the way to go. These are so good. They're so nice. They're beautifully made. I'm telling you. Like, look at this. Look how beautiful this is. Oh my gosh. I can't wait to wear it.
all right, no doubt. I appreciate that. And for all the people that already been placing orders and inquiring, and I see a lot of people go to the page to the to the store and y'all checking it out. So thank y'all, man. Like, listen, this is all we could do. We got to do our part and we got to be consistent. So thank you, Nadine, for saying that. I appreciate you so much. So look, you ladies are on here now. This is what we're gonna do because I know there's a lot of people out here that may say, "Yo, Ra, you had Oyendia on the program before because you have gone through a couple of different changes in Oyendia, which as far as co-host, right? Nothing bad, just the way that life transitions, right?
Mhm.
And during your last group of co-hosts, you happen to lose one tragically, right?
Right.
And then I realized, like, during that tragedy, it also put you in a space where you went to God first before you just jumped out there figuring out, how you wanted to move forward or India. And then you said through your prayers, they were answered with Cece and Nadine here. So I want you to talk to the audience a little bit and tell them about that particular transition because the Remy with what you had with Remy was dope. It was more in studio and all these other things, but the transition that you have gone through now into the ladies that you have now, I think it's important for a lot of people to understand. So let's talk a little bit about that transition if you don't mind.
Yeah, absolutely. And if I can, Rock, because I'm sure there's a lot of new viewers and listeners that probably don't know who I am or who Nadine is, but I would love to do a quick intro. So, hello, all. My name is Yessie Rodriguez. I am the host and producer of Oyandia TV, just like Ra had shared. And also, I've been in the entertainment industry for nearly 3 decades. Like, I was doing the math, and I'm like, oh gosh, 29 years tomorrow. And so, with that, I started at 11. I know, a long time, right? I'm a professional SAG-E, actress, model, bilingual media host. I just love storytelling, inspiring, educating, and empowering people, the community, and that's pretty much what Oyandia is. It's a lifestyle-based podcast, and our goal and aim each and every time is to positively motivate, educate, inspire, enlighten, and entertain the viewers and listeners. And so, going back to question, Ra, with regards to the growth of Oyandia. So when Oyandia started back in 2018, it was myself, and at that time I had an amazing co-host, Remy, and we were doing it in studio out in Raleigh, North Carolina, and it was going good. But I realized that the in-person vibe of it was a little challenging because you couldn't always align schedules with people, and so we did that for about almost 2 years, and then we were impacted by COVID. And so from there, I had to pause for a bit, and I paused for actually until March of 2024. And that throughout that time, I was able to get connected with my second co-host, which was Manny. And also at that time, we had another co-host who wasn't able to continue. Shout out to Tim as well, Timothy. But nevertheless, with Manny, he stayed throughout the whole time, and unfortunately, he did meet his demise last Valentine's Day 2025 due to a domestic violence situation. And what's interesting is that to my understanding, him and this lady were not even together. It was more of the fact that she just couldn't accept the fact that they weren't together. And I want to say this to say that domestic violence doesn't only affect women, it affects men too. And it was the home when Manny, the co-host of Oyandia, was affected and he met his demise because of another person who thought that was necessary. And
Yeah.
so from there, I prayed to God. I was like, God, you had sent me this amazing co-host. He was great. What now? Please send me the right people. And at that time, Nadine and I were actually a part of a production where we thought it was going a certain way, but that's a different story, right? But nevertheless, I always tell Nadine, God brought us together for a reason. And I can see and feel Nadine's spirit, her hunger for more. She wanted to do more. Just her vibe overall was just beautiful. And I was like, wow. And God kept telling me, as Nadine, as Nadine. And I was like, you know what? Let me ask Nadine. Why not? Right? So I did, and she said yes. And then I was like, well, another person. I was introduced to Cece. And so now, because of that, God used Nadine as a vessel to bring in Cece, and I have two other amazing co-hosts, and now it became more of a women strong podcast. So the transition from having two male co-hosts, well, three with Timothy, and now to two female co-hosts, it gives Oyandia a beautiful breath of fresh air from different dynamics, right? Unfortunately, with what happened with Manny, but then looking now, we're growing beautifully. We're a worldwide platform where people can hear us and see us in different types of podcast platforms. So if you go on Google, type in Oyandia TV podcast, and you're going to see all the areas that we pop up at, even on YouTube. So people who want to see us, check us out.
Bet. So with that being said, Nadine, let's get into you, man. Introduce yourself to the audience and let them know how you came about joining the Oyandia podcast.
Yes, absolutely. As you guys know, my name is Nadine Barton. And just a correction, Yessie, because for somebody that's an actor and was in the military, I was kind of a shy person. I love taking pictures, but I never really liked being on camera. But when Yessie asked me, right, I said, yes, my dear friend Tiandra, she could do it. She loved public speaking or whatever the case is. And I referred her to CC at first, Dr. Tiandra now. And then she was like, a few days later, she came back and she's like, what about you, Nadine? And I'm like, okay. And you were like, I have to get out of my comfort zone, right? Absolutely. So that's how we became one, with Oyandia. But anyway, back to me. My name is Nadine Barton. Originally from Jamaica, but I did 24 years in the Navy. That was my first career. I'm now retired, and then I started stepping into the realm of acting. That's how I met the beautiful Miss Yessie over here. And now I'm a travel agent and doing these little things on the side. But I just love being a co-host on How India. I love talking to the people. I love talking about trending events and just things that's going around the world that a lot of people are they're not privy to, or they didn't see it, or whatever the case is. But I'm just happy to be here, to be a part of this team, and to be a part of the guest today.
Yeah, dope. I like that. And I think that's important. I wanted the reason why I asked that first for us to open up, before we get into other things that's pretty much going on out here, because, you know, um, when it comes down to a lot of things, I notice in this platform game, a lot of people will give up, right? Because it's not a quick, rich road, to get there, right? It take a lot more than just showing up for the podcast, right? It's a lot of things that go on behind the scenes. It's like scheduling guests, talking to guests, and then sometimes guests don't show, and you can have a whole, itinerary, mindset, and vision for how you want the show to go. And then the person doesn't come, and then you have to pivot and you have to figure out, how you want to do it at that moment. So these type of things really help people to really understand if this is something they want to do. And a lot of people give up. So both of y'all, I want y'all to let's talk a little bit. This is Women's History Month. Let's talk a little bit about motivation, right? Because you have to be self-motivated to be a platform of any type. You have to be self-motivated because people are not going to come pat you on the back. People are not going to wake you up. They're not going to tell you, yo, you got to film, you got to do. They're not going to do none of that. If anything, they're going to look at you and be like, I knew you wasn't going to do it. But there are not very many people that's going to really give you that. So as two ladies in the business, let's talk a little bit about self-motivation. It don't matter which one of y'all go first, but yeah, explain to the people what self-motivation is like for you.
Listen, self-motivation for me is like, first of all, waking up every morning. I have to give thanks to God. And anybody that knows me know that I'm a positive person. I like to uplift. I like to empower. Just like yesterday said about how India, what OND is about. But personally, I like to uplift. I like to empower people. Like if you look on my pages, if you look on my Instagram, if you look on my Facebook, I'm always putting positive quotes on my stories. I'm always sharing positive stories, manifestations, affirmations, those things. So you have to start your day with having a positive mindset, because the devil
Mm,
is alive. And if you don't do that, like that, your mind could throw you off and send you down a rabbit hole you don't want to go to. You know what I mean? So you have to be positive.
I like that positivity. That's you know, so many people miss that small thing because it's not one of these big, gigantic,
Mhm.
big, glamorous things that you have to do. Just that small thing of purposely being, positive, and it helps out. So what about you, Yessie?
Yeah, and before you say that too, you could also check out my book, 80 Ways of How You Can Have a Positive Day. It's on Amazon, and it's also on my website, nadinebarton.com.
Oh, all right. So you got a book. You wrote about that, but positive day.
It's basically like a journal. It have like pages you could write, and it has like each page on those 80 pages have like it has a quote on the top of each page. Yeah.
Gotcha. I like that. I like that a lot.
Yeah, so as for me, Ra, Nadine articulated it beautifully, giving first thanks to God, right? Because I agree, there's so much negativity in this world. There's so much people just really being brainwashed. I have to say it, and I'm sure people are probably going to feel some type of way about it. And I apologize, that's not my intention, but I'm being realistic with you. If people really sit down and look at what they see on TV, if they look at what they see on social media, on their cell phones, the people that they even interact with, you're going to notice that 9 times out of 10 you're going to be surrounded by negativity. That's eating away at your energy, right? Just like one of the shirts that I modeled for you in the recent collective worship says, protect your energy. You have to protect your energy, and also be thankful for the blessings that you do have, because in that self motivation, because no one else is going to do it for you. But guess what, if you have the right people in your corner, they're going to be those words of wisdom for you to say, hey, what about this, what about that, right? So it's just a fine balance that you have to find your people, so to speak, right, to make sure that you get pushed.
Hmm.
But you do have to push yourself. That's number one. Push yourself and have that motivation. And then to
Yeah.
have the right people in your corner. And three, remove and rebuke the negativity and the evil around you, because trust me, it does exist and it's going to eat away at you. But and when you enter that process, when you're ready to receive that change, you're going to see so much positive change that you're going to look around you and be like, wow, what happened? Right. So when it comes to motivation, those are my things that I go to. And I give thanks to my family, right? To the people that I do have that do love me, that accept me for me, because I'm not perfect, right? And
Right.
I do understand that they're not perfect either. So I give a big shout out to my family, to my loved ones, to you, Ra, to my son, for just loving me for me. So yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's important too, because whenever we maneuver through the things in life that we feel like we're chosen to do, not everybody is meant to go along for that ride. So that means that we lose love along the way. And it's not necessarily love in a personal relationship with your person. I'm talking about family, friends, and even things that you used to like to do. You lose the love. Now you don't lose the love, but for some reason these people or these things lose the love for you whenever you put yourself in a position that you want to be in your purpose. And I realize that whenever you're in your purpose, one of the biggest highlighters that you could get to let you know that you're on your purpose or you're in the right purpose is you start to lose people. Now,
Mhm.
if you're doing things and everyone is still around, then you're not in your purpose, right? Because everybody's not meant to go along with you in your purpose. That's the hardest thing to accept whenever it comes down to these things, whether it's content, whether it's acting, whether because all of these things come with a level of success that people around you feel entitled to.
Mhm.
And God removes them before you even have to have a conversation, right? And I appreciate that, although it's a lonely place to be. So, either one of y'all, talk to me a little bit about that place of being in your purpose and how people, and because this is a real thing, and it's everybody. It's not just men, it ain't just women, it's all of us in general. When you're in your purpose, you lose people. And I said lose love, but I don't know if it's necessarily that coming from us as the individuals, but we understand that love that we looked for, love that we appreciated, it goes away. So
Yeah.
what do y'all think?
Yeah, so before you hit that, right? I was touching on the positivity thing that you were talking about earlier. I had no idea what questions you were going to ask today. So it was literally yesterday thinking about positivity, last night actually, because yes, I don't go to sleep. you know,
Right.
entrepreneurs don't go to sleep, right? So last night, and I just want to read just a few quotes. I have like a ton of quotes I wrote down last night, and I'll tell you the book that it came from at the end of this. So I'll just read about three, and I wrote, "Your thoughts and your end beliefs dictates your reality.
Mm,
You're responsible for what you say, do, and you are not responsible for whether or not people freak out about it." And
right.
third one, I'm not going to read all of them. I'm just going to read three. If you're serious about changing your life, you'll find a way. If you're not, you'll find an excuse. And it's from that book called "You Are a Badass." So I literally posted that in a group yesterday, and those are some of the quotes from it. So, like I said, this is basically confirmation, and you're in alignment. And back to the question at hand, Ra, that you're talking about. Definitely with me, friends, family, relationships. My question I always say is, God, please let me know if this job, if this person is not for me. Please show me a sign. Please remove them out of my life. And I promise you, every single time I say that, it happens. And sometimes you don't want to lose people. You really don't want to lose people. But if they're not in alignment with you, you are going to lose them, because people come into your life for a reason, a season,
Hmm.
and a lifetime, right? And reverting back to that is like it's like trees and leaves on a branch, right? And the people that
Right.
are in your life, they are the root, they are grounded, those are your village. So that's my favorite thing to say. People are in your life for a reason, a season, and a lifetime. And every single time I get on my knees and I pray, God show me the sign. And I think he already removed all the people that are not supposed to be around me. Okay, so that's it right there.
Facts.
Mhm.
the thing for me too, with regards to just alignment. We do that every day. Pray, God, remove, rebuke anything, anyone, any entity, deity, spirit that is negative, evil that is not of you, away from me, away from my family, and whew, in the snap of your finger, voila, right? So it's one of those things where people, when you make that prayer, similar to what Nadine was sharing, you have to be ready to accept that. Roz said it too, right? It's like you have to be ready to accept that. But guess what? It's okay because God is shedding that fat that you don't need to that next level that you're trying to go to or that God is taking you to, right? And so just be mindful of that. Yes, it hurts now, but like Ra was sharing earlier, as long as you are in your alignment, God is going to shed the fat, so to speak. God is going to get rid of those people that are not meant for you. That are those fake, what's it, the wolves in sheep's clothing, as I call them, because God knows, nope, son, daughter, this is not for you. They're not you in your corner. Let them be right there. And yes, it's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt. I'm not gonna lie. But once you realize, when you get to that next level, next destination, you're like, wow, thank you, God. Thank you, God.
And it's a hard pill to swallow, even though family members too. But sometimes sometimes I'm sorry, but they gotta go. If they're not in alignment with your peace and your well-being, then they gotta go. Like I said, blood is not always family.
And listen, I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I really feel that from both points from y'all because yes, you right. It do hurt because in some instances when it come to family, why I say family hurt, and even when you lose relationships with like personal people, like right, like whether it be friends or your romantic relationships, it's a lot of us who are visionaries, right? When we go into things, that's one of the things that we do. We see or we look towards that future. Because very few people who don't look towards the future can't make it past the day. And what I mean by that is that people let whatever happened to them that day dictate their life so much that their life going forward is always either battling or reliving that same day, right? And until another day comes that they can hold on to. But then there are plenty of us, and not all a lot, but there are a few of us who look towards tomorrow, right? We understand that we're living in the present. We can't go back and we can't go to tomorrow, but we're going to live by faith. People that live by faith is not going to count out themselves in the day, right? We're looking for tomorrow. So we vision certain things and people and places in our lives, whether it's places we want to go, and a lot of times comes with the vision of people we want to be there. Anytime there's a level of success that we envision and dream, we envision these certain types of people or these particular people being there. And then when you understand just your road to getting there, you haven't even gotten where you're supposed to be, nowhere near where God wants you to be, and these people are gone. You know, that is just like when a guest say they're gonna come and they don't show up. You gotta pivot almost like, oh man, now I gotta figure out what I'm gonna do, but you still gotta show up. You can't quit because somebody else quit, right? So I'm glad y'all said that because this is the thing that I say a lot of times when it comes down to relationships, right? Because we understand that everybody is not meant to be at the end of the book. Some people are only meant to be in a chapter. That's the part that we got to be able to accept more than anything else, that you are a chapter. Now you might have been a long ass chapter, right? We could probably pull your chapter out on its own and create us our own little manual or manuscript or something like off to the side, like a little quick reader, just because of this section in our lives. But either way it go, they still only a chapter. So do y'all agree or disagree when it comes down to that particular portion? Because yeah, we could pray those prayers all day, but it's just like whenever it happens, it still affects us. Because that's why I don't pray it no more. That's why I give thanks. I say thank you for removing those that are not meant to be. I'm not even gonna ask you, just thank you. Because he's doing it on his own. Like without me even asking, because we aligned in our purpose. Sometimes when they say God fight your battles for you, wow.
Yeah.
Most people don't believe that. So talk to me, y'all. What y'all think? In the sense of that, do you equate that to God fighting your battles for you by removing people?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, if you don't ask, how are you going to know? And if you keep believing those people or keep entertaining those people, in your lives, then where is it going to take you? Because you're always going to have those jealous people, jealous habits around you, and they're not going to propel you. They're not going to help you to move forward in your dreams or whatever the case is, and your goals. And
Right.
also on the other spectrum of that, you had mentioned something. I forgot what you had said, but I remember my thought about that. Like sometimes in other aspects, you have to use your pain to position your purpose. I like to use that because
Mm.
I've used my trauma to propel and to use it to position my purpose. So when I went through my trauma, I wrote my book about, and it helped me to navigate. And I'm telling you, therapy works too. When you go through therapy, you'll see a whole different thing. You see a whole different life. It's like 360. So that's what happened. And that change that I have, like those grudges that you had built up and those resentments that you had built up in the back of your mind. Once you release that, once you ask God to, to help you move and move those people and to forgive the people who hurt you, you're gonna see a whole 360 in your life.
Right.
Yeah, and I agree, Nadine. Again, another beautiful comment that you shared there. It's it's really about just continuing to push forward, and like Ra was saying, thanking God for making sure that the people that are not meant to be in your life are there, and even the divine connections. Right, like how I shared earlier, I prayed for the divine connection with my co-host, and God brought me Nadine and CC. So it's a twofold, right? You pray for God to remove and rebuke those individuals and entities and negative spirits away from you, but then you can also pray, or you should be praying for God to bring you the divine connections that are help you align with your purpose and with your future, so that you and they can help each other walk forward in the purpose. Because although they may have a similar or different purpose, if God has them aligned with you, you're going to be walking side by side, right? So it's one of those things where it's like praying for removal, but then praying for the divine connections. And honestly, I love that. I also make sure I pray that every day. And because of that, I continue to see the blessings and just the different things that come, all the blessings that have been coming in my life. I'm really grateful for that. So, yeah.
And
I
also,
like that.
don't ignore your gut. Like, I know yesterday we talked about discernment also. So in that aspect of life and people around you, like don't if you get an inclination, if you get that gut feeling, sometimes people don't know how to identify it. If you're thinking about a friend, or if you're thinking about to tell somebody something, or if you're wondering if I should let that friend go with me to that party, or should I invite them, or should I go when they invite me, and you get that gut feeling, that's your discernment. Don't go. That's your discernment. Every time it comes around, I have a burning sensation in my stomach. Don't ask me. I was born with it. I don't know. My discernment is very strong, and I always follow my gut. And when I don't, it's not a good thing.
Yeah.
Well, good. You got to be aware of that. You was going to say something, Yossi?
No, I was going to say I agree with her, using discernment and also looking at the red flags, right? If something doesn't align, or you're noticing the patterns are off, then that's definitely like Nadine was saying, that's part of your discernment. You should be taking that into account, because those are the gut feelings that God is sending to you, or signaling to you to pick up. And I get it, a lot of people may not be in tune with that just yet, and that's okay. But just being mindful of paying attention to the red flags, paying attention to just the patterns that are seem off, right? Or even in your spirit, if something's weighing really, really, really heavy and you feel it, you're like, trust that instinct, that gut feeling, like Nadine was saying.
Yeah, because discernment, right? Using your discernment will help you to really focus on what you're supposed to do. Because this is what I mean by that. Because whenever you can align yourself with your purpose, right? Whenever you can align yourself with your purpose, the way that God moves in your life, He puts you in a position where you have decisions that you have to make. Because it's not every time that He's just going to do it for us. You're going to have to make the decision. And a lot of times, it's not the decision to have to fuss or fight or try to correct another person. The fight is for you to keep going on in your purpose, because most people stop their purpose based on who's in their life. right? There's so many people who, based on a relationship or based on family members or whatever, is why they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing right now. There's people who supposed to be writing a book that ain't never wrote that book because the person that they're around don't see the value in them writing because of bills. Or there's people who in a family situation have to be the 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 person that has the most sense, and they have to run everything for the whole family because a lot of families are dysfunctional. And then you got that one kid that happened to be an adult that got the mindset right, and they have to be the one that have to make sure everything floats in a family, right? And they got a functional mother, a functional father, siblings, aunts and uncles, but in their immediate family, they got to be the ones that got to make the most sense. So in these different things, your discernment, if you use your discernment for yourself as well too, a lot of people have been made to believe that our discernment is made just for us to be aware of other things and not ourselves, right? So many people have been told that you are not important to you. Only the people outside of you, especially as men, certain times we're raised to be able to believe or to think that everything outside of you is more important than you. And so we have to find a way that we have to remember that our importance because of how we got here. Like, yo, nobody's here by mistake, right? Some people got 1 foot. It still ain't a mistake. You just weren't meant to run. Nah, I shouldn't have said that. Nah, that might not have been cool. But what I'm saying to you is that in that mindset, though, in that thought process is what I'm saying. These people still persevere, where there's people who got 2 feet who don't get up every day, who won't move, who won't do what they got to do, who may be overweight, who won't change their lifestyle. And there are people who have disabilities or may not have everything that everybody else do, and they keep pushing through. So that's what I mean by that. Like sometimes, and even in the mindset of those people, they keep wanting to be great.
Yeah.
So I feel like discernment is way more important than a lot of people give it credit to. So I think both of y'all hit the nail on the head with that, because some people call it, like you said, Nadine, your gut. We call it discernment. Some people call it the spirit guide. Some people call it the angels. Whatever it is that you identify with that feeling of whether you right or wrong, because sometimes fear could keep us from doing certain things too as well that we misinterpret as our discernment.
Yeah.
Right? Because God don't give us a spirit of fear. So anytime we don't do something out of fear, then we have to realize that that's not our discernment.
Yeah.
So what do y'all think about that? Because listen, I want to be clear. Y'all are women in business. So you're gonna be, especially in this podcast game and in the entertainment game that y'all in, because y'all both act, y'all both in movies and all these other things. It's a male-dominated scenario. So you gotta be business first in everything you do. So talk to me about that, y'all. What do y'all think about that in that regard when it comes down to it? Because it's important. Y'all are women of business. How important is it for you guys to stand firm on understanding the difference between fear and your discernment?
Yeah, like you had mentioned, God has not given us the spirit of fear. And you had mentioned something about some people, they want to write that book and they don't know how to start. They don't know where to start. Like before I wrote my book, I have those fears too. And, because I wanted to write about, growing up with my dad, how he treated me. And I was thinking, oh my God, what's my family going to say? Right now, I lost 95% of the family on my dad's side, because once you stop worrying about what people have to say, then you'll write that book, because that's what I did. And if they were meant to be in my life, they would have been the root, not the leaves on the tree. They done fell off, and that's okay. Once you give yourself grace, and once you don't care about losing people, if they were meant to be in your life, they would have been the root. Okay, so that's what I did. I didn't give a damn. Excuse me, I don't know if I could use that.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, we lit over here.
Right. At the point, I didn't care about what people had to say. So that's when I put pen to paper and I started writing, and they're not here. Oh, well.
Right. So what about you, Yessie? Faith over fear. Can you, or is there times where it's hard to defer whether it's the one or the other? Your mic muted.
Yep. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Hey, I feel like a Verizon wireless commercial. Hey, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Good. Yeah. So honestly, Rod, with that question, I pray. I pray about the situation. When God gives me that feeling like a yes or no, then I move forward. And this is why, because the entertainment industry and being a model and actress, especially actress first, and in it all these years, you can't say yes to everything, right? You have to really use your discernment because one, you're only one person. Two, there's so much other hidden evils behind the scenes, whether it be trafficking, whether it be people that are dishonest, etc. So when those opportunities come to me where I'm like, ooh, this looks too good to be true, let me pray, and God puts it in my spirit to say no or yes, that's how I move forward. And this is what anybody just watching me and listening to me right now, you want to be an actress, you want to be a model, that's beautiful, that's great, but use your discernment, use your judgment. You can't say yes to everything because there is a lot of scammers out here. There's a lot of people being trafficked in this industry. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm being real honest. This is me speaking from experience. I started this at 11 years old. And being in the industry for over now going on 29 years because I have a birthday tomorrow, it's one of those things where I want to share that with you because I want to protect you and I want you to protect you too. Okay?
Facts.
So,
And I think that's important because, I know me personally, everything I do before I do it, there's a level of fear, right? Fear as to will it be accepted? Will they like it? Will they don't? Should I do it? Is it worth it? Is it really mean anything? Am I do? You get all of these things your subconscious may throw at you, but the moment you do, like Nadine said, you don't really care about the way other people think because art is subjective. And then once you realize that when they said that we were made in the image of God, I think people were just looking at the image in the sense of what we look like. I don't think they understand what that means is that, we have the ability to create. And in other words, we could take thoughts that's in our mind and we could bring it to reality. And whenever I think about the creation story, and I know a lot of people don't believe it or they do, that's not my business to, when it comes down to that. But in the creation story in the first 7 days, they kept saying that he said, let there be. So that means that these were all thoughts. These were all thoughts in his head that came to, or God, whatever it would be. You know what I'm saying? I don't think it's just one gender, but, it was a thought. Let there be light. Let there be that. It was all thoughts that he had, and it created it. So when we are on this level, right? We not the gods with the uppercase G, it's the little G, right? We are gods in that sense because we take those thoughts that are in our head and then we create. Right. And in the creation of God, we are perfect. It's same way that I said that some people are born a certain way with different type of different things. And then there are people who are born, with everything that they consider works. Right. But it's not imperfect in the eyes of God. Right. So in the sense of us, whether something that we do is not perfect in the eyes of other people, it's still a thought that we use to create. And I think that's powerful, right? Because I think one of the things that help me motivate, that help motivate me in those times when I start to doubt myself is just that. Like, yo, Ra, remember, it don't matter how you think people are going to look at it. Just think about this, fam. You thought about this. This was a thought that you had, and it's here in real life, right? I'm wearing this shirt. This is a thought. Heavy is the crown. Can you think about what it means, how heavy it is to wear a crown? Everybody want to be the king. Everybody want to be the leader, but you don't know how heavy it is to wear that crown, yo. Word. So these are all thoughts. So I want y'all to tell me, because I think it's important, what are some of the biggest misconceptions about women in business when y'all guys are in leadership, right? Well, what do you think the biggest misconceptions that come with that whole type of vibe right there?
Well, we're in a man's world, right? And they always think
Mhm.
that men will do it better, or let's ask them, because think about it. Back in the days, like, men led the household, right? So and especially, not that before COVID people weren't doing their things, but COVID showed you that a lot of women started becoming more and more entrepreneur, business oriented, business minded. Mind you, I did 24 years in the military. I was in charge in a lot of different spaces. I ran different offices, and majority of the groups I led were, it's a mixture, but my majority were men. And sometimes, of course, in leadership, especially in the military, you can't say that I'm not gonna respond to her because she's a woman. You don't have any choice. You know what I mean? So are we still living in that realm, in that world where you can't take directions and orders from a woman? I mean, we have lady CEOs, we have, entrepreneurs, we have, women, a lot of women in leadership. So we're in the stage right now where there are a lot of women that are running the world. So it's either the men accept it, or they stand by their women and they support the women.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I love that.
I like that a lot. Yeah, I like that a lot. Go ahead, Yessie. What you saying?
All right, right. Yeah, I was just gonna give my follow up on that. So yeah, I agree with Nadine. It's one of those things where it's like the the misconception that I've noticed is that for whatever reason, from an entrepreneurial standpoint, mm, there's a lot of individuals who feel that women don't have that same level of understanding, which is very incorrect, right? I just want to show that out there. Like understanding and your entrepreneurial journey or level of knowledge is based on how you do your research, right? The level of education that, whether it be going on YouTube, whether it be taking a certification, whatever education you get or gather to run a business, right? How do you, what level of education do you have for finances? Because finances and business is very important, right? So those are just different things that people need to keep in mind. It's not necessarily that women is less than, but there is that misconception, and that is not true. And I'll say that right there. Because also going back to what Nadine was saying, men need to understand that without a woman, you wouldn't even be born, because you come through the body of a woman to get here on earth, right? So it's one of those things where it's like you need a woman to turn into a man. That's why the WO is removed and there's the man that came from a woman, right? So just throwing it out there.
And the womb is a part of that woman, because the man came out of the womb from the woman.
No. I mean, all of that is a real fact, right? Like all that is a real fact. I think the misconception that I think comes with women in business is that, you know, once they become a certain level of authority, then they disrespect the men. Because you got to think about it. Men in leadership have been people, they have been disrespectful to men and women, right? Let's just take the current leadership or the last president leadership or whoever we want to talk about in government. Look how many people dislike or don't like these people based on decisions that they made. And they've been doing things wrong to men and women. I don't see where it's just been one, right? But then when it comes down to women in leadership, it always seems like it's always a battle against men. And I think that's where it looks like we continuously find ways to keep ourselves separate, because we got to find ways to work together, because money is just a tool, yet people use it as a measuring stick of value, and it's not. You know what I mean? Like, Nadine, you said you've been in the military for 24 years, and I know, yes, you've been doing what you've been doing for a really long time, and I understand that, in those things we are given, right? Giving to other people, their company, whatever they tell us, that's what we do. We follow those rules. We do what they say because they came up with it. But then there's the people who come up with the rules that abuse the rules. Each and every day, look at the government. They come up with all the rules and they abuse it. Mm-hmm. Right? They got all these laws against drugs, yet they in the White House and everywhere else with drugs. They talk about all these things. I mean, everything that go on out here that people get locked up for, they doing in there, and it's not happening to them, right? So that's why I think it was important for you ladies to come on today and we have this conversation about those particular things, because I was thinking about it, like, what would I talk to you guys about? Because it's easy to talk about your platforms. It's easy for you guys to talk about the entertainment. But the thing that most people don't respect is women in business, right? And I feel like that is one of the most important parts that people miss because of genderism, right? Because she's a woman, she can't, or she don't, and she won't do business correctly when it comes to her and men. And it's not like that. Yeah, I know you girls got girl power and all that other stuff, right? But just like anything else, you gotta remember, you got the biggest competition gonna come from those that are like you, not those that are opposite from you, right? And so I hate that that's the biggest misconception about women in business, is that women in business, once they get to a certain level, is then now the he woman hater club. And I don't think that's necessarily true. But I get it. You know, some men can't deal with the fact of the success of women monetarily.
It's
You
about
know,
ego.
so
I think so. I think it's about ego, and I think it's about like you said, some men they can't deal with it. They can't handle a strong woman. You know what I mean? So I just think that what I lost my train of thought. I just think that some men in relationships, some men are in competition with their woman partner. Like, why? Why are you in competition with her? You know?
right.
Yeah.
So go ahead, bro. That was one thing.
No, go ahead. Well, no, I was just going to say, yeah, competition in relationships is something that happens regardless. That's what sucks. One of the things that sucks in those personal relationships is competition between who do what, who got what, who been and who. The one thing about in any type of shared environment, people should not be count. Now, what I realize is that there's a lot of people who let people go in their lives because they counted things, right? They didn't understand what their purpose in these people's lives was as well. Because we also lose things like, because we have free will, not everybody that's not in our lives are not in our lives because they just not supposed to be. It just seemed that way. A lot of us make choices too as well that cause people to go opposite ways. You know, we as human beings, we have that duality, right? That we're not neither hot or cold. We're not perfect and we're not always imperfect, but there's that balance. And I think when it comes down to it, when it comes down to women in business, I think in general, a lot of you ladies have, in order for you to be strong enough to run a business, you had to go through some things. I don't think there's a woman that could run a business that haven't mentally and physically had to go through things that challenged them in order to be a leader, right? Like, leadership is not something that you can just pick up. You either born a leader or you born a follower. What do
I
y'all
agree with
think
you.
about that?
Oh yeah, absolutely. You're either born a leader or a follower. And some of those traits is what you see, like individuals who are leaders, they don't care about what people think. They do their own thing within reason, in a good way, right? Not going around doing crazy shenanigans, but they create their own lane versus following everybody else. Ooh, that person has his latest so and so, the latest purse. Who cares? Like you, Rob, you were not into the whole label thing. You created your own brand, right? Collective wear. You realized that why am I going to compete with all these other brands making everybody else rich? Let's work together as a community. Let's create a collective, right? And then you become collective. So that is an example of a leader. Individuals who think like you, who think differently, who want to create their own lane, so to speak, and not wait for that opportunity, not wait for anything to happen. They make stuff happen. And they are respected. You treat people with compassion, right? And leaders going to treat people with compassion. They're going to understand that nobody's perfect. They're going to give people the benefit of doubt within reason because you don't want to get stepped on either, right? And so it's one of those things where it's just a really fine and intricate line to understand a leader from a follower.
Yes, you make a great point. And I think that's what a lot of people need to understand when it comes down to that. Because listen, we all are gonna fall short at some point, right? We all gonna have those days where we're not always 1,000%. But at the end of the day, we can't allow other people to take us off our square either. And I mean, as much as we love people and we adore them and we want them around, we can't allow them to take us off our square. And we can't allow people to make us compromise our values and our morals either. Right? Because those are the one thing, your reputation means a lot. I think people um I guess they misunderstand what reputation mean. I think popularity is the most part of reputation that people, they appreciate. But your name being good when it comes down to things like business or, just in an environment, especially in this entertainment thing, your name move around like mud. Like some of these photographers and some of these like some of these people, their name is mud out here. You get what I'm saying? And that goes for every market. Like no matter what market you in, there's some people that you might see a lot, but their name is mud, and they can't. You know what I mean? And they're only getting new people that don't know no better. But I thank both of you ladies for coming on and y'all got and you sharing those things with us because, um, a lot of times women in business, like I said, they get a bad rep. And this is Women's History Month. And I really still don't understand the concept of women's history because you guys are breaking ground and doing things each and every day. So for it to even be considered history, like it's over, because most of the time it's like Black History. Like they celebrate Black History Month is because they talk about Black people from the past. And it's almost like having Women's History Month is almost like they only want to focus on women from the past. And I get that, you know what I mean? Because they paved the way, but some of the women paved the way for everybody, not just women, right? But you guys have to, just wear the titles that anybody give y'all. And I just think that's weird too. Because Women's History Month is a good way to celebrate y'all, but it still shouldn't be history, right? It should be women's appreciation or women's upliftment or women's empowerment or women. Why history? Like you guys ain't gonna do nothing else? Like what the hell? That's it? Y'all done? Like it's over. Like yo, we celebrate Women's History Month this week, this month. That's it.
It shouldn't just be about celebrities or well-known women. It's about women in general.
Gotcha. Right. It should not just be based on, that, like you said, from the past or celebrity or people who've only done things that would consider mainstream. It shouldn't be that, you know what I mean? But anyway, go ahead. What you say? Yes.
Well, I have a thought, Ross. So what about this? Right? Yesterday is history to us. So let's say, for example, there was a woman wherever across the world that did something major and it was history. That in her community was that type of history. So that's how I see it. Yes, you're right. The general concept of women history is honoring or giving gratitude or highlighting past. But thinking outside the box, the way I see it is from a historical standpoint. What happened yesterday? What did you do over the weekend? That's already your history. That's in the past. Right? What happened an hour ago? That's the history. That's in the past, right? So as we're moving forward in the present, everything behind us is history. It's the past. So if you touched somebody's life today, if you impacted somebody's life today, if you saved somebody's life, or whatever it is that you did today, and as time progresses, that becomes history. That's the past.
Yeah. It's a perspective, and I get that, and I think that's important to. That's why I always talk about perspective so much, right? How important it is to respect other people's perspective. They can't be like you, they can't think like you, and because they think of things in a certain way, it doesn't make them wrong or you wrong. It just makes it that's the way that they see the world. That's the lens that they look through. And we can learn people better if we pay attention to perspective and not just look to see if they're like us, like if they're going to think like us, if they're going to respond like us, if they're going to be like us. More so, just understand perspective, because a lot of relationships can be saved no matter what type of relationship it is if you could just respect the person's perspective. Understand that that's it. That's the way they think. Okay, bet. You think that way? All right. This is the way that I think. Now, is there a way in the middle that it can meet? If it cannot, then that's okay. But that conversation could be had, but it shouldn't be where you either got to take my side or I got to take your side for us to have some type of understanding. So even though you broke that down like that, Yessie, which I get your perspective, you're right. Something that we did yesterday, if it's celebrated tomorrow, then that would be considered history. I get that. All I'm saying is that when it comes down to women in history, everything that they talk about from the women in the past was all something that was affected by a man. And it's crazy because whether it's Rosa Parks, I mean, really, she was made famous not because she stayed on a bus, it's because who came down to recognize that she was on a bus. Because how many other women went through mad stuff that was going on during that time? It wasn't just Rosa. Right? It had to be who came through, who had all the press, and that was King. King had all the press, not Rosa. So that's how that worked out. But in other words, they celebrated. Let's do Harriet Tubman. Yes, Harriet Tubman was that person that helped lead a lot of places, but the places that you had to hide at in the daytime in order for you to get there was all ran by men. So even though we got to give these things, it's like we got to find ways to stop separating ourselves, because that's the biggest way that relationships don't work between men and women, because we keep finding ways to have a power struggle. Not y'all, not me, but just the way society puts us in a hole. Because think about it. I saw some posts up there. We ain't going to be much longer, y'all, but I saw some posts out where men was up here talking about, well, damn, they ain't never been a Men's History Month. And I'm like, why y'all want that? Like, why is that an argument? Like, okay, all right, so I get it. Everybody has a thing that they want to be recognized for, right? Because I just saw today, I screenshotted. I wanted to see if y'all heard about this today. I was going to do my Did You Know segment, but that didn't happen because I'm talking to y'all. And this was crazy to me because I thought that but I want to read it verbatim because I just can't understand this. So look, Kansas has revoked 1,700 transgender driver's licenses. Right? So if you were transgender, if you were one person before and now you identify as transgender and you go get a new license that you want to identify, they were rejecting it. Right? So even in the sense of what people want to identify as, people are being forced to accept it. But it's a form of separation. Because technically, why would you want to go change your license just because you change yourself? Like, what is that going to do for you? You're still who you are. And I get it. Just like you said, Yessie, it would be that perspective that another person would come with that answer. Just the same way you said yesterday was history and they could look at it that way versus people from 50 and 60 and 100 years ago. It's the same way that they could say about this particular perspective. Yo, sir, ma'am, or ma'am, sir, whichever one you are now, you're still whoever you were before you got here. Right. And so a lot of people deal with that identity crisis though. But listen, I want y'all to do me a favor. If y'all want to respond to what I just said, y'all can. And then we're gonna get into, because I need people to make sure that they could get down with Oyandia TV, because you guys go live every Thursday, don't you?
Yes, we do. Well, first I will say this. I mean, I'm very old school and traditional. Although I respect people if they want to be a woman or a man, if you were born with a male part, then you are a man. If you were born with a female part, you are a woman. That's just how I was raised. That's how the Bible breaks it down too. So it's like, man and
Right.
woman, right? Only two genders. Unless, I mean, hey, you might be someone from a different planet and I just don't know about it. And then hey, that's on you and whoever else. But nevertheless, um, for Oy India, we do go live every Thursday, 7:30 p.m. And then we do recaps or like for those who missed the segment on Thursdays, then they can watch us again Sundays, 7:30 p.m. is where it goes back on for those who missed it. So, and they can also find us on RSS, and then from there we are on Apple Music, Spotify, Samsung Music, iHeartRadio. There's a bunch of different places that they can find us. So all they have to do is just actually go on my website, yesierodriguez.com, and then on the upper left hand part, there's a drop down. There's an Oil and Dia section. Once you click on that, you're going to be able to find everywhere where we're found. There's actually other stations that we're a part of now that I haven't added yet, but you can tune in for those. Or just again go on Google, Edge, Internet Explorer, type in Oil and Dia TV podcast, and everything else will pull up for you as well.
Gotcha. And Nadine, so if people are out there, right, and they want to be a guest on Oyandia, because y'all stay booked. So it's kind of hard to get on Oyandia, right? But if a person needed to get with y'all and they have a story they want to tell, what are the ways that they, or what are some of the type of topics that you guys are open to talking to them about?
I mean, we talk about every and anything on the show that's in alignment with what we believe in. I mean, if a guest and there and we're not going to talk about anything that's not in the person's bio, so we usually ask them for a picture, we ask for their bio, and we talk about whatever is in the person's bio. And of course, before the show, yes, he always we talk about trending topics, anything that's interesting, anything that's going on in the news. And our podcast is not like a ratchet podcast. It's a positive, uplifting, empowering podcast. So if you want to come on there, talk about what's in the news, talk about uplifting things, then you'll send your because I'm always out there recruiting people. Hey, you want to join the podcast? And the first thing they ask, is it free? I mean, I don't know any podcast that people are charging. I mean, unless you're a celebrity or something, I'm not sure. But but I'll tell them to send their email, their bio to me, and then I'll forward it over to Yessie, and we'll put them on the schedule. Right now we're booked up till April. We do have some slots for April, right, Yessie?
Yes, we have some slots for April. So it's like pockets. So we're recruiting guests for April, May, and June. And then yeah, like Nadine was saying, we're lifestyle based, right? So anything that falls within the spectrum of life, the good, the bad, the ugly, that is what it is, right? Because our goal is to, like Nadine was sharing, to positively motivate, educate, enlighten, inspire, and entertain the viewers. But we also get into topics where they're not so warm and fuzzy, because that's what life is, right? We have to talk about the depression. We have to talk about the children with autism. We have to talk about the bad relationships and the losses. I mean, that's just part of life. So when you think of life, Oyandia is not in a bubble to say, oh, we're only focused on this or that. It's all the spectrum of the life, the good and the bad and the beautiful and the ugly. So yeah.
And it's fun. It's just like having a conversation with your girlfriend. If you want to come on, if you want to bring your glass of wine, just chill out.
Right.
You don't need to be drunk if you're driving somewhere, but it is virtual. It's not in person.
That's
But
funny.
it's like a lot of people, they're like, oh my God, I'm so nervous. And when they get off, they want to come back because it's just like having a conversation. It's not like an interrogation. It's not like, oh my God, let me ask this. You don't have to worry about. Sometimes when people get on podcasts, they're like, oh my God, I don't know what they're going to ask me or whatever. I'm scared. I don't want to talk about this, what's off limit, what's not, or whatever the case is. It's just like having a regular conversation with your guy friend or with your girlfriend. And yes, he always make everybody feels comfortable. I mean, it's really fun. I mean, sometimes the conversation is so good, we have to have people come back for a part two.
Yeah, I noticed that. That's why I was saying. So all of y'all guys that are watching, right? And those of you that's gonna watch the playback, Oy and Dear, like they said, if you have an interesting story, and I know me personally, I talk to all kind of people on this platform. So there are a lot of people I want to send you guys' way. I think it'll be interesting to have a conversation with you guys, right? Because I have some of the most interesting. I'm pretty much booked up till I think yeah, May. Like it, and it's like that. And I have to like slow it down because of how many people want to come on the platform. And I got to book out 3 months at a time as well. And then I, do it like that. But it's a blessing. And then, like I said, sometimes you have people booked and then they don't show. So it's still a thing where the show still must go on regardless. But yeah, so for all of y'all that's watching, I want y'all guys to make sure if you have a story, if you have something you want to get off, it's not just geared towards women, just because they're a women-based podcast. They will talk to men and they'll talk to, I know when it comes down to like acting and stuff like that, there are a lot of child prodigies and musicians and different things like that. So they'll even be open to have those conversations as well. If you guys are interested in that, because I know a lot of you out there are investing in your children and your children are super smart, and the world sometimes need to know a little bit more about them, because children right now are under attack in so many different ways that we have to do everything we can to make sure that whatever their mind is geared towards something positive, that we as adults can help guide them there. So if they do pick up a sport or they pick up an art or something like that, listen, we need to encourage them and make sure that they have opportunities. And being on a platform like a podcast will make a child really feel like, yo, this is what I'm supposed to do. And it'll probably help them stay out of trouble. Because what they say about an idle mind, and only y'all know what that means. You know what I'm saying? And we know these kids got so much in front of them trying to, persuade them to go the wrong way. So that's why I say, if you guys are out there, and even like I said, if you even have a child, my platform is not really based on, you know what I'm saying? Because, not that I wouldn't. I'm just saying that for those of you guys that have that, I know that this platform would be open for y'all and they'll be willing to do it, because these ladies are all actors. They're all in the business. You know what I mean? I don't know what you call me. It's just that I do it, right? But these ladies are actually in the business, so you will want to. And another thing too that I want to say before we get out of here to all of y'all that's been watching, Yes, it's not confusing. I do have a new segment because some people have been hitting me up asking me, are you starting your show back over? No, it's not that I'm starting it back over. I have a segment that I do now called Conversation Corner or Convo Corner. And what I do is I've been blessed to be through different guests that interview celebrities. They allow me to be able to be a platform to interview celebrities. So now, not only do I have my regular Tuesday show, I also do one-offs and I interview celebrities. And right now I had the great Victor Orlando on for my first show, which he played with the Gap Band. I mean, so many different people. Like it's bananas. Beyond whoever as a percussionist, I had him on, and I have Vincent Ward on in 2 weeks. He's been in everything. Like his discography is crazy, and there's so many more lined up. So blessings upon blessings have been happening, and I'm thankful. But yes, it's not confusing, y'all. Every Tuesday we still on, we rocking, we popping. But then there is Convo Corner that you guys can check out. So I just wanted to throw that out there for those of y'all that's been hitting me, asking me, am I starting the show over, or if I'm just not, you know what I mean? I just wanted to make that clear. But other than that, do any of you ladies have anything you want to say to the audience before we get out of here?
Yes, before we go, I just want to give a shout out to my friend and podcast friend, Yessie, for her birthday's coming up. So I just want to say happy birthday when it comes in a few days. When is your birthday?
Tomorrow.
People, that's right. Happy birthday.
All right.
Thank you.
Yeah. We definitely gonna celebrate Yessie this week for her birthday and stuff like that. And for those of you guys, make sure y'all watching, make sure y'all send her a shout out, man. You know what I'm saying? Tell her happy birthday on her timeline and all that. As you can see, my son, he's singing happy birthday because he heard me say it. So yeah.
That is beautiful.
Well, go ahead, Yessie.
Thank you both. Rob, thank you for having us. This was amazing. Definitely good time, good vibes. And whenever you want us to be back on, we will be here. Nadine, thank you for being an amazing co-host. And also shout out to my other co-host who wasn't able to join us, Cece, Dr. Cece the Actionist. She is here with us in spirit, even though she's not here physically. And I'm truly grateful for all of you. Also, thank you for the viewers and listeners. And for those who want to find more about me or follow me, I know, Ra, you mentioned about the child prodigies. I do offer acting coaching and modeling coaching. So for those who want to go on my website, www.yessierodriguez.com. On the upper left-hand corner, you're going to see that drop down, just where it says work with Yessie. There's going to be an option for you to just send me a message. We can work together. I am starting my Slay the Scene Acting Academy. I did start that last year, but I'm bringing it back on because I'm revamping it to make it into a full-blown academy. So this is for serious actors. Like I'm going to show you all the ins and outs, the ropes. And just like with anything, right? Just how people go to a university and pay hundreds and thousands of dollars, it is going to be an investment. It's not going to be free. I'm going to be upfront and honest with you and transparent, but it's going to be a worthwhile investment for those individuals who are serious about the acting industry and the modeling industry, because I made that investment. I traveled to LA, I traveled to New York, I traveled to Atlanta, I traveled to Chicago, I traveled to different parts of the country to make that investment in myself. And now it's my turn to pour that out into those who are serious and ready to invest in their careers. So just throwing that out there. But thank you all. Thank you, Rob, for having us here. And also for those who want to just find me in general, they can go on Google, type in Yessie Rodriguez. I'm Googleable, so you'll find out more about who I am.
There you go. And for those of y'all watching, thank y'all so much. Y'all know how we do each and every week, man. I get up here and I talk to some of the world's most interesting people. And next week, y'all know I'm going to do the same thing. But until then, y'all know the vibes, man. Stay fly out there. And remember, if you don't believe in yourself, nobody else will. So until next week, y'all, peace.
Peace, peace, peace.